And we're now at item 7 already, the Vice-Chancellor's report. And as I've said, the Vice-Chancellor is overseas and sent his apologies. So it's my pleasure to invite Tim Colmer to speak to us.
Thank you very much, and thanks for that welcome. The Vice-Chancellor, Amit, does send his apologies, and I'm pleased to be here today. So I'm the Acting Senior Deputy Vice-Chancellor. My name is Tim Colmer, and I'm also a member of Convocation. So I graduated from the Bachelor of Science in Ag in 1990. So I'm happy to be part of the UWA family. The Vice-Chancellor's report was in the documents which were circulated. I would also, just before getting to that report, Richard's had to go, but I'd like to thank Richard for his welcome and also acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people and elders past, present and emerging. The Vice-Chancellor's report describes our community engagement activities and quite a number of those. It has also some research highlights. It's quite revealing, I think, in the report, the numbers of collaborations, which I'll say a little bit more about in a moment, as well as the education outreach activities which are summarised in the report, and of course the number of awards which have been given to our staff and students, importantly, which are recognised in the Vice-Chancellor's report. It also notes some operational issues, such as the impacts of COVID, and I would really like to thank our staff members for all the extra work that they have done during this very challenging time, which included getting a lot of the material online, but then also having a mix of face-to-face with online teaching, and it was their extra effort, and also when colleagues became unwell, the cover, the flexibility in being able to continue the teaching was highly appreciated by the university and all the efforts they made. Also, the students have shown great resilience and flexibility, very understanding as well when sometimes things did have to get changed at short notice because of impacts on staff or shutdowns as we emerged through that very difficult period. So we'd just like to formally thank both the staff and students for the resilience and the way that they have tackled what has been quite a challenging time. So the report highlights, as I said, some collaborations. I think notable in there is the new collaboration with the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute. So that's a collaboration across Australia that now sees the setting up of activities here on campus at UWA looking at cardiac research. There's an endowed chair, but there's also sponsorship of research activities. And Livia Hall, who is a UWA staff member, has been appointed as that inaugural endowed chair of the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute, Wesfarmers and UWA providing the resources. There's also the Ear Science Affiliation Agreement. That's a collaboration with the Ear Science Institute of Australia, another of the medical research institutes located here in Perth. We already have affiliation agreements and collaborations with TKI and Perkins and Lions Eye Institutes as examples, but that's just everyone working together to get the critical mass to make a difference in medical research, but also in the experiences for our students through those collaborative efforts. So lots of honours students, PhD students are also in those collaborations. The report also talks a little bit about some new infrastructure. Most exciting to me is the CT scanner that's mentioned there from CMCA, the Centre for Microscopy, Characterisation and Analysis. And the report acknowledges that that's a new piece of infrastructure funded by the National Imaging Facility. The university is very fortunate to be a partner in several of these national infrastructures, facilities, so they're the NCRIS, National Collaborative Research Infrastructure Schemes, funded by the federal government. But in this current round, really importantly, we also needed to get secured funding from the state government. So that new CT scanner is a third funded by the federal government, 1/3 funded by the state government, 1/3 funded by the University of WA. And it's that sort of partnership which really enables us to improve our infrastructure that we have here for research and for student training. That NIF node, the WA NIF node, National Imaging Facility node, is available to researchers throughout WA, so even though we're the host, that CT scanner, there's people from the WA Museum who are going to be already lined up to come and scan artefacts to understand what the internal structures are, for example, of various pieces at the museum, as well as our biologists wanting to scan bones and skeletons and all sorts of other samples. It's not in the report, but what is exciting is that is only the first stage of the expansion of that NIF node, the National Imaging Facility node. We are soon to be installing the first research-dedicated human MRI in that node, and that's going to make a big difference to West Australians. So we will be part of a national network where there's some imaging trials which currently, if West Australians want to participate, they need to go to one of the other NIF nodes in Melbourne or Sydney, whereas then we're going to be able to have those protocols and experts available here in WA so that our citizens can be part of those sorts of clinical trials. So it's really very, very exciting. And after the MRI is a PET-CT scanner that's also a research-dedicated scanner. Again, all 1/3 funded by the federal government, 1/3 by the state, 1/3 by, in those cases, a consortium of partners, because they're much more expensive equipment where we've got Cancer Council, Lottery West, other research organisations and universities all contributing. I've taken the report as read, so that's sort of just some highlights as I saw them in the report. I'm happy to answer any questions about the report or move to the questions on notice.
We'll have questions on notice a little later. Okay. Thanks, Tim. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any immediate questions based on what Tim said or the report? No, you've stunned us with science, I think. Thank you very much indeed,
Thank you.
Tim. Yes.
Thanks.